Hello, the purpose of this video is for me to outline my expectations for students and teachers from me in terms of leadership related to technology. So the first question was your view of the principal's role in technology use and what tools you would use. How will you be a role model in this area? So one belief that I have is if students are one-to-one and, for example, carrying around an iPad to do their work, then I should be doing the same thing. If I'm using my phone, using my laptop, another device, that communicates to students, teachers, everybody that sees me that iPads are not good enough for me, but I believe they're good enough for everybody else, and I expect you to use them, but I don't expect that of myself. So, core component of my leadership philosophy is modeling the behavior I expect of others and not asking others to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. Examples of day-to-day modeling would be using Google products in new ways. It would be using Google Calendar, a new feature that just came out, or modeling something that isn't currently being done in the school. Using Google Drive on a regular basis, keeping that organized, assigning tasks, using the comment feature, other aspects that maybe are being used, maybe not, but continuously progressing with my use so that everyone can see that. Doing so allows staff to see that I'm learning new things and that there are new things out there, and inspires people to see what they could learn themselves. Second question was about my view of teachers' role in technology use and what tools they should use. And also how I will measure progress and hold staff accountable. I believe teachers should be using technology to connect students to information and experiences that are not available inside the classroom. Using technology, as one person put it, not as a word processor, but as an access to information, ability to research or experience something that they currently cannot. As far as how this looks, specific examples in all disciplines, I'll say that I'm learning right along with everybody else. And my leadership would be just that, sitting down right next to a teacher, researching an app, a website, a online tool, and saying, hey, let's co-teach this together. Let's try it together so that both of us, we can learn together and we can give each other feedback on what we think. It also is it's a lot less intimidating for somebody to try something new when someone's with them and willing to go walk alongside them. I also expect teachers to use technology in ways that connect students to each other and gives them access to learning while they're not in the classroom. A simple example of a learning management system that's popular would be Google Classroom. There's so many aspects to Google Classroom that allow students, teachers, all learners to communicate together and also access the information, access their learning literally 24/7. Next question here, what are my thoughts on the expansion of one-to-one computing? Do I think it's a fad or a necessity? So one time I heard somebody say that devices in schools are overbought and underutilized, is what the person had said. Well, there's some truth to that. That's more about the implementation of the devices rather than the need for the devices. So when I think back to my leadership philosophy in general and I say, hey, what's best for the student? Well, an educational experience that prepares them for tomorrow is what's best for the student. That's my belief. Given that belief, one-to-one devices is a necessity. That's what's going to be there tomorrow, in the future, the rest of their lives, is a device that's theirs that they use on a daily basis, hourly basis, very, very frequently. So if that's what the world they're going to enter into, that's the world they should learn in as a student in pre-K through 12 education. Last question here, what are my plans for supporting teachers and providing professional development opportunities with regard to technology integration? Well, I oftentimes ask myself as a leader, I just ask myself the question, are we as adults willing to do what we expect students to do? So I go back to, hey, if a student was learning something new and I was expecting them to do it in a classroom, how would I go about that? Well, I would start off by clearly defining the skill and maybe some that I want them to learn, or some ways they could use it. So that's a learning goal. That's the success criteria, so steps for them to reach the learning goal. I'd provide some initial instruction around that new skill. I'd allow students to learn on their own and work together with that learning. Then we'd assess student, as throughout that process I'd be assessing student learning. We do maybe a summative assessment, or a assessment at some point, provide some feedback for the student and provides feedback for me as a teacher. Then if students have not met the goal, provide more learning opportunities to target the specific misconceptions the student has. Okay, and then I'm going to continue this process of assessing student learning, providing feedback, and then more opportunities to learn. I'm going to continue doing that until I believe the goal has been accomplished. In this case with technology, so I'm taking the exact same approach with teachers. Here's the goal, here's some instruction, go ahead and try it out. Now as I'm observing, walking through their classroom, talking to students, talking to them, I'm going to have a pretty good idea of what's happening. I can provide them feedback, they're providing feedback to me. We're going to provide some more learning opportunities through professional learning for the teachers, the adults, to get better at what they're trying to do. Okay, and in this case, I believe I'll know when they've reached the goal. So they've demonstrated learning when they start applying technology use to new and unique situations in the future. And by definition of learning, that's what that would look like. So I'm a couple minutes over my time here, but that's a brief outline of my expectations of what you can expect me to do with my leadership of students and teachers related to technology.